Hi, I'm Michaela too, and as well as being a cub leader, I work for a charity called Cress. Cress works in Uganda with South Sudanese refugees. They've had to flee their country because of civil war. Do you know which continent South Sudan and Uganda are in? Uganda and South Sudan are both in Eastern Africa. You may have seen it on the logo. As part of your Money Skills badge, you have been asked to find out how people gain, save and give away money, and about different currencies. So I'm going to tell you about some projects that Cress runs to help the South Sudanese refugees with their money. As a background, I'm going to introduce you to Regina. She fled from South Sudan in 2017 with her husband and their 10 children. They travelled on foot and carried her twin daughters, one on the left and one on the right, with their luggage on her head, just like this lady, but carrying twins as well. Can you imagine a one-day journey covering over 35 kilometres on foot, resting 8 times, with no food until they reached the bush area of Majali in Uganda, where they settled? So I have a question for you. If you had to flee from your home, what would be the items that you would take with you? All Regina managed to carry with her was her mattress. I'm not sure that's something you would have thought about. I wouldn't have. But if you don't have anything, those are the kind of things that are really important. Mattresses and cooking implements. Those are the other things that we find that our refugees have brought with them. Can you imagine not having a cooking pot when you have to cook on a fire to get your food? Cooking isn't quite the same here either, is it? There's no gas or electric. Some of the refugees we know brought a little money with them, but some of them chose to bury their money because on the road there were so many robbers or people who would have stolen the money from them. They felt it was safer. Back to Regina. She was a peasant or subsistence farmer when she was in South Sudan, which meant that as well as growing crops, she kept livestock like chickens, goats and cows. That meant that she was happy. She could feed her family and sell the surplus at market to provide her additional needs like medicines, education for her children and clothes. What is it your parents do to gain money? Regina was so sad to lose everything they had when they had to flee from South Sudan. They lost not only their household items, but also the way they earned their living. This is where Cress stepped in to help. Cress wants to create sustainable communities where the refugees can earn a living for themselves. So they've set up agriculture and savings groups. The agriculture groups show the refugees the best organic vegetable and fruit production methods for their area and provide them with the tools and seeds to start their vegetable gardens. When the harvests come in, the extra food can be sold at market, which raises money for them. The savings groups help their members keep their money safe, invest it in projects, and so create interest for savers. Cress provides a savings box. It has 3 locks, so it can only be opened when all the group's leaders are together. The group is also supported by community business facilitators who help set the rules, guide the group on good practices and help them come up with ideas. The savings groups have about 30 members in each group. Each person only has a very small amount of money, so they can put all their money together, and then maybe some of them will have ideas for businesses and they can request a loan, or they might put all their money together for a project like buying a cow, which then, when sold at market after being reared, will raise them more money. Do you save money, or your parents? Have a quick check in your six. If you don't know, maybe you could ask your parents when you get home. I'm now going to introduce you to another refugee. His name is Sam. He borrowed money from the savings group, a loan, so that he could start his business. Sam is now 24. He had to drop out of secondary school as his parents could not pay the fees. In 2016, while still in South Sudan, he started a shop to provide for his family schooling, medication, clothing and food. His business prospered, but the civil war came and all his things were stolen, so he ran away to Uganda with nearly nothing. In 2019, he joined a savings group. He borrowed a loan of 400,000 Ugandan shillings. He used 90,000 for renting the shop, 60,000 to pay his children's school fees, and 250,000 was left for more stock for his business. Sam says he owes Cress and the team working in Uganda a huge amount of appreciation because his business is thriving again. He says, "I have now established a business of my dreams where I am able to make a minimum of 200,000 shillings a week." What do you think you'd like to do to gain money in the future? Do you have any ideas? Maybe talk about it in your six for 5 minutes. So I've got a little quiz question for you. Did you hear which currency they use in Uganda? In Uganda, they use the Ugandan shilling. However, our partners out there often talk to us in US dollars. How much something would cost in US dollars may be more stable than how much it would cost in shillings. Cress is a UK-based charity, so we raise money in pounds. We talk to our partners about how many dollars they need, but when they pay the salaries and they pay for items, they use Ugandan shillings. So I've got a quick maths question for you. Currently, £1 equals 4,680 Ugandan shillings. If someone donated £10, how many Ugandan shillings is that? Take a minute and see if you can work it out. Did you remember how to do this from your maths lessons? If £1 equals 4,680 Ugandan shillings, if you add a 0 to that 1 to make 10, you also need to add a 0 on the other end. So £10 donation equals 46,800 shillings, which is a huge amount. With numbers like that, I would so easily get confused, but the Ugandans work with them all the time. I think they just don't see the last couple digits. Back to Regina. I'm sure you'd like to know how she was getting on with her savings group. Regina has been able to acquire most of the items and animals they had lost in South Sudan. She says, above all, we eat healthy vegetables and have meals 2 to 3 times a day. Our children are happy and healthy because there is food at home. The projects gave us hope that we could get whatever we had lost to the war in South Sudan. Life without the support from Cress would have been very difficult and unbearable. We thank God all the household belongings, vegetables, paying medical bills and education of our children are possible because of Cress's support through the projects. My hope for the future is that through the support of Cress projects, I will build a concrete house, educate my children, buy cows, and return to South Sudan a transformed person and not as I came. Cress is a charity, and charities get money from donations. There can be donations from individuals, but also from trusts and from companies as well. I expect you've given money to charities in the past. Cress runs fundraising events. Some people have done sponsored walks. Some people have given regularly to support a child's education or a salary of a community business facilitator. In your six, can you think of a charity that you have supported? What did you do to support them? After learning about gaining, saving and giving away money, which would you like to try most, and what would you like to do? I hope you found this activity interesting, and I look forward to finding out all about your ideas.